Ready to do some reading for me? All right, let's get it. All right, Shalom, Israel's I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, back in 1969. The only home of the truth. If it's not the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yohanna, it is not the truth. All right, now got that out of the way. As Priest and Officer Kazak Damar, I.S.U.P.K Jacksonville, Florida. We here at the 103rd Library. We here the first 2 Mondays of every month. We at the Brentwood Library, the second 2 Mondays of every month. Between 5 and 5:30 to 7 to 7:30. I would say that like that because we might be changing the time. We also have on I.S.U.P.K Florida, 7 to 9 on YouTube every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, not Thursday. We have classes all over Florida, Orlando class, Tampa class on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have class at our headquarters down in West Palm Beach, Riviera, Florida. And Friday night, they do the Lashawan Kodash, learning the ancient language of Hebrew or ancient Hebrew. And then Saturday, the Sabbath service, all right? So what we're going to do is today, I had a couple questions I was going to go ahead and get into and answer. The first one was the proper way to say shalom, right? Shalom, shalom, shalawam, those things, right? First thing you got to understand about that is there are, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 different spoken dialects of Hebrew. 9. I'm gonna read them all to you. You got modern Hebrew, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Mizrahi, Yemenite, Tiberian, medieval, Mishnaic, right? And biblical. Pardon me, I ain't got my glasses. So Mishnaic and biblical. All of these different Hebrews is a way that you would pronounce certain words might be different. So like in English, the way you say water, you might have 3 different dialects. You might have north side, which might say water. You might have actual English, like my brothers in the UK school say water, which is the proper way to pronounce it, water. And then the way we say it in America, water, right? Or water. Either way, you're saying the same word, they have the same spelling, but you're pronouncing it different based on where you're from, right? So these different dialects of Hebrew that you have proves basically that the way you say certain things, it don't matter until it do, right? What we're doing in the I.S.U.P.K is we grasping or trying to go back to our ancient roots and our ancient customs and put back on the things that was taken away from us as we came to America and became Americans. For instance, we don't know about keeping the Sabbath. We don't know about keeping the Passover. We don't know how to speak our language. We do know how to speak English. We do know about Christmas. We do know about Easter. We do know about Halloween, 4th of July. We know about all these things. And if I ask how to keep the 4th of July, people would tell me, put some ribs on the grill, you get some fireworks, you know what I'm saying? You wear your red, white, and blue polo outfit, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, so on and so forth, and you get high and you go around and eat up at the barbecue and you get drunk. That sound about right to y'all? All right, cool. Nobody would be, if I ask about Christmas, it'll be the same thing, Halloween. However, how to speak and to live as Israelite is something that we have to go back and reach back into antiquity to find. What you're gonna find is you have first temple, how they was doing it under the first temple. Temple was destroyed. We went into Babylonian captivity, Syrian captivity. And as you come out of Assyrian and Babylonian captivity, if you could, can you pass that to the system? Some things changed, right? So if you look at the bottom right there, if you look at the bottom or I ain't gonna call it the alphabet, the characters at the bottom, right? The Hebrew characters at the bottom. If you look at a modern Hebrew Tanakh, like what I got right here, when you read in that, you're gonna see those characters. You can pass that to the system. No, you good, you good. That brother Ty, he be at work. If he just sit there, he gonna fall asleep anyway. So if you look on the I think the left hand side, you'll see the Hebrew. On the right, you'll see the English, or it might be the opposite. Yeah. All right. So the characters at the bottom right there on that thing you see, right? If you see the word Shalom in that Tanakh, it's gonna have a wa there. It's gonna have a wa in the middle of it, like Shalawam or Sha-La, which is the characters you see up there on the alphabet. Sha, La, a Wa, and a Ma. That's what's gonna be in there. Every time you see it, it'll say Sha, La, Wa, and Ma. There's a word like Bawakwar. Bawakwar, right, is morning. In modern Hebrew, they would pronounce it Boker. Like if you see it in modern Hebrew, it'll be Boker Tov. To us, it'll be Tawab Bawakwar. Tawab and Tov is spelled exactly the same with those characters. The O is there because it's Ta. The Wa is there in the middle to make an O sound. So if you went to Israel, they would say Shalom. They would never say Shalawam because the Wa is there to make an O sound. There is no vowels in Hebrew. The vowels is all consonants. You have like two vowels, the ah and the I. So there's an ah sound and an I sound. Now this is ancient Hebrew now. In modern Hebrew, and some of the dialects that they speak now, you have vowels. If you see them little dots in some of them words in the Tanakh, those dots are there. They're diacritical marks to tell you how to say the word and what vowels to use. But in ancient Hebrew, it does not exist. You see them? You see the dots and all of that? Yeah, so that's to tell you whether to use the a u, a o, but in ancient Hebrew, it doesn't exist. That's why when we speak it, if I was to read, you know what I'm saying, how does it say it? Here is Shema, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one, right? I said that in the Lashawan Kodash. There is no, it'll sound totally different if, like, say, like a brother like Yoshiyahu or one of them brothers on there that actually reads modern Hebrew, or Divine Prospect, brothers who actually read and speak modern Hebrew would never say it that way. But if we wrote it, we would write it the same exact way. The characters would be the same. You understand what I'm saying? So it's only a matter of how you pronounce it. What they call the Lashawan, what we call the Lashawan Kodash, the fake Jewish people would call the mother tongue. It's an ancient dialect that nobody uses. There also was a re-emergence of Hebrew where they rebirthed Hebrew and they used German words. They used German words and they spelled them in Hebrew. For instance, I got a bottle of wine. It's a Cabernet. It's Cabernet Sauvignon. That's the name of the wine, right? That's the name, the type of grape they use, which is French. Most wine, you're going to get the grapes, they're going to call them by a French name. Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc, all this other stuff. More for the podcast, right? Right. So now, what they did on the wine is it says Cabernet Sauvignon, which is the way they spell in French, and then they got it wrote in Hebrew letters. Ka, ba, ra, na, ta, like kabarna. So if you ain't know no better, you would think that was a Hebrew word because they spelled it in Hebrew characters. That's what they did to create Yiddish, which is what a lot of people speak, where these was German words. They ain't Hebrew words at all. It's not in the Hebrew vocabulary, but they use German words to spell it in Hebrew, and then they pronounce them as if they're Hebrew. So in the reemergence, let me see if I can pull this up. The rebirth of Hebrew, real quick. I know I'm giving you more than what you asked for. That's just typically good.
So this one is read from what? From the right to left?
Yes. Yep. Hebrew is read from right to left. Most ancient languages like Hebrew, what's another one that the Muslims use? Arabic, all of them read. I think English might be one of the only ones that's read from left to right. It's so weird. So I let you know the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Let me see if I can get it real quick. All right, so this ain't the one that I got, but anyways.
So y'all are doing the ancient.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we reading though, you see those Assyrian letters at the bottom, it says Assyrian, right? Israel did not start using those characters until after they came out of the Syrian captivity. However, we still had a grasp on our language. You see what I'm saying? So the writing changed. That's not even ancient Hebrew letters. It started from like pictographs. Like one would be a ladder, one would be a bull, one would be this, that, or the other. The aleph, they call it. We call it the would be a bull, and it would mean one thing. And then the ladder would be like this. So when you learn in Hebrew, they'll teach it to you in that manner, but it starts from the pictographs. What I'm saying is, as you read the Tanakh, you will come across Shalawam, which would be Shalawam, if you read it that way. But what you're not understanding is the Wa was on. That's why nobody from Israel that speaks modern Hebrew would ever say Shalawam. They would say Shalom. So if the Wa is taken out,
The Y is silent.
correct. You got a Bible dictionary?
No, I don't.
No, I mean on your phone. You got Blue Letter. You got Blue Letter. So if you could look up Shalom. Look up Shalom on the Blue Letter. See where you can find it at in the Bible. Let me see if I can get it for you. But I'll have you go in here because I want to show you something real quick so you'll understand it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you still got that Judges 12, right? Okay, don't sound crazy. Let me see. Revival of the Hebrew language. Revival of the Hebrew, rebirth of the language, how modern Hebrew emerged. While I'm looking for this, can you read a little bit of this for me? No, I'm gonna give it to Yama Yan.
Yeah, because when I type Shalom, it does not come up on there.
Grab that real quick. How did you spell it?
SHALOM.
LOM? All right, so look, peace. Let's put the word peace in. See what happens. I get Genesis 15:15 as the first one. Is that that's what you got? All right, cool. Let's go to Genesis 15:15. Let's see which one you gave me. Hit Genesis 15:15, go to the interlinear, it'll say peace, and you will have Shalawam. Shalawam. There it is. Boom. You see where the word peace at?
When I choose it, it pops up with see all of Genesis. Is that what you did?
You got to go to the bottom one where it says open it in the Blue Letter Bible. The last one, the last option.
Gotcha. Okay. And go down to peace and hit what, H?
H7965.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You got it? What does it say?
H there.
Huh?
The first letter of that first word, the transliteration doesn't even have an H.
Nah, it's like Shalom, right? SALOM, right? So you got it pulled up, that word, the H7965 or whatever. Okay. Now, when you go to the transliteration, then you got the pronunciation, right? Say the pronunciation.
Shalom.
Shalom, right? That's how they would pronounce it. Look at the root word right there. You see the root word?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Shalom.
you get it? You see what's going on?
Mhm.
The only reason they add that is there is to make it say shalom. But the original root word in ancient Hebrew would be pronounced shalom. The wa is there to make the o sound. So when you're saying shalawam, it's a misunderstanding of what's happening within that language transforming from one way to the other. Just like it's silent letters in the English that you would not pronounce. It's the same thing going on there. It's there to make you pronounce it a certain way. And instead of them just taking the new way that adds the Y in it and saying shalom, they're saying shalawam. Because the Y is there. It's been placed there in the text to make you say it a certain way. Just like those diacritical marks, those dots that's up under those Hebrew words. You understand? So now, when you ask me what's the proper way to say it, I'm trying to get back to the ancient Hebrew, I would say shalom, right? If I was to say it any other way, just like right now, we say Elohim, right? That word in modern Hebrew is Elohim. They would say Elohim. It just means angels, rulers, right? Gods, whatever. So sometimes when I'm speaking to people that I know will pronounce it that way, rather than go back and forth with them on how to pronounce it, I might say Elohim, even though I know that with everybody in the truth, I would say Elohim. This is why they say Yod He Wah He, right? You ever heard that?
Okay, how is that spelled? The way you pronounce that?
What, Elohim?
Yeah. How would you spell
In
it?
English letters?
Yeah.
Because if you ask me how to spell Kazak, my name, I would say Ka, Za, and Kwa. And if you look on there, you'll see it. Or however they would say it in there. Elohim would be those letters you see right there, those characters, those Hebrew characters. It would be Ah, which is the first one, La, Ha, Ya, and Ma. But in modern Hebrew, it would be pronounced Elohim, 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 however they say it, right? But what I'm saying is most people, and this is even from the beginning parts of One West, I think it was, I don't want to mix them up. It was either Rabbi Matthews, Rabbi Ford, when they started, they found out that we were the people in the book, so they started to go and learn under Jewish rabbis to get our customs back. And then it was the seven heads who was like, we don't need to learn it from them. They not even the real people, who kind of broke off from that to start to go back to the ancient ways. So if you find out you're Israelite and you go back to learning from a rabbi, you're going to say it the way that people who learn Hebrew from a rabbi or from them would speak. However, that's not the ancient way. That wouldn't be the way that Yahushua spoke it, or David, or anybody in the Old Testament. All right. So I don't know if I answered the question or not.
No, it does.
Okay. All right. Good. So the right way to say it is the way that GEN.YAHANNA says to say it to me. I'm a robot. All right? To you, you might be like,
The
okay.
reason why that Shalom question came up because I saw someone sent me on Facebook. Somebody from I.S.U.P.K said you're not in the truth if you're saying Shalom.
Shalawam or Shalom?
Shalom.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was confused.
Yeah, the reason being is because we would say that you're learning Yiddish or a bootleg form of Hebrew instead of learning the ancient. And we also say that people not in the truth if they're not in the I.S.U.P.K. So he basically was saying you're not in the I.S.U.P.K. if you're saying Shalom. You could just hear that a different way if you don't believe that same way. Can you read that for me? Yeah. You need glasses?
It was a scroll past the title. The rebirth of a language, how modern Hebrew emerged. Unless you have gone through the Israeli state school system, the name Eliezer ben Yehuda probably means nothing to you.
It don't mean nothing to me. Go ahead.
But Eliezer ben Yehuda, more than anyone else, carried the mantle for reestablishing the Hebrew language as a modern 20th century tongue, no less than the Zionist movement reestablished the ancient homeland as the Jewish state.
So what they saying in here is that in the same way that the Zionist movement in 1940s reestablished Israel as the state of the Jews, when they took those German people over there, those Khazars over there, and said these was the Israelites returning home. This dude was just as instrumental in establishing Israel or Hebrew as a language again when it wasn't. Just like Israel wasn't a people that was in no land and they put them back in there, well, nobody was speaking Hebrew because we went through all these captivities. Think about, you know what I'm saying, from when King David was on the throne to us going in all of these captivities from Babylonians, the Persians, the Medes, the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, and then by the time you get into the Greeks in the Apocrypha and Maccabees, they saying it's against the law for you to keep the Sabbath. It's against the law for you to get your kids circumcised. It's against the law for you to keep the feast days or the Passover. And these were all things that made us who we were. So after all of that, by the time you get to, right after when Christ was on the scene, they up under the Romans and they just allowing the Israelites. They say, all right, y'all can use the Bible or whatever to live by. If somebody, commit adultery, you can stone them or whatever the case may be. Right? Keep reading.
So remarkable was the feat that linguists have marveled at the success of the ancient language brought back to life by a few logical, simple rules. Like many European Jews, European Jews, Ben Yehuda spent his childhood learning the religious books, Torah, Mishnah, and Talmud. With the young Ben Yehuda, then Eliza Perlman, caught the Enlightenment fever that was sweeping 19th century Europe and decided to leave his little Russian shtetl.
It's telling you who he is. European, Eleazar, Russian, European Jew, learned in the Torah and the Talmud and the Mishnah, right? Decided to leave and do what?
Decided to leave his little Russian shtetl in the Jewish Pale for Paris, where he studied at the Sorbonne.
Okay, you get to the part where he did, or it don't say it nowhere close. I just wanted to give a little backdrop. So you got this little Jew, European Jew, Russian, learning. Go ahead. Go ahead.
While there, he was introduced to Zionism. Seeing it as an emancipating philosophy, Zionism was the Jews' ticket to independence. Furthermore, it was a verification of the growth of the nation state in Europe, a prime component of Enlightenment thinking in which Ben Yehuda was already entrenched.
Hey, Shalom.
Ben Yehuda was deeply influenced by such revivals as the Greeks, the heirs of classical Athens in 1829, and the Italians, the heirs of classical Rome in 1849. He came to the conclusion that the European concept of national fulfillment should also be applied to his people.
Now, hold on. What year is this happening? Do it say it?
This was in...
Gotta be 1940s, right? It said in early 19th century. That might have been the 1800s where they was talking about he grew up. But the Zionist movement, let me look that up. The Zionist movement. Maybe I'm getting the Zionist movement with mixed up with after World War. Maybe those are two different things. Make sure I misspeak. I'm not allowed to misspeak. Zionist movement, a national movement that espouses the establishment of and supported the homeland of the Jewish people centered in the area roughly corresponding to the land of Israel, the region of Palestine, Canaan, and the Holy Land as basis of Jewish connection. When was the Zionist movement? 1897. So another 50 years before World War III, World War II, I meant. Okay, all right, here's it is. Bottom line, this dude was one of the people who came up with reestablishing the Hebrew language in the 1900s. Now think about this, 70 AD, after Christ died. Shalom, sis, Lord of Christ. Hey, 70 AD, when they went in and they disrupted the temple, so on and so forth, and kicked us out of the land. We went running into Africa from Pompeii, right? And then after that is when all of this happening. We talking about from then to 19 or 18, whatever. So we talking about like 1,800 years from the time we was removed out of the land till we going back. Now we ain't got our customs no more. We ain't got. Now think about this all after Christ. So the stuff, the Maccabees and all of this stuff happening before Christ. This all happening after Christ. So when you talk about a people that's been scattered, like Christ, like the Most High said he was going to do, that's us. We were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Our identity was taken from us, so on and so forth. One of those things being our language, right? So this dude, this European Jew, in between 1890s and 1950s, decides to restore the Hebrew language. And I don't know if he's going to talk about it, but just to skip past it, what he did was what I was talking about earlier, where they used German words and they spelled them with Hebrew characters and pronounced them in a way that they would be pronounced in Hebrew, like they were Hebrew words, but they wasn't Hebrew words at all. This is what you would call Yiddish now in today's, and that ain't even mentioned under the, how many dialects? Let me go back. I think it's like 9 dialects that I read earlier. Let me go back. This Yiddish ain't even mentioned in that. Modern Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and Yemenite are the main 3. Ashkenazi, Sephardic, and Yemenite are the main 3. The rest of them, Tiberian, medieval, Mishnah, modern Hebrew, biblical Hebrew, all of these different dialects of spoken Hebrew proves that unless you can go back and you can get a recording of King David, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is trying to put this thing together. If you go back and hear Moses speaking to the children of Israel, then we got a recording of that. Somebody got it, you know what I'm saying? Recorded it on their phone or something, and we got it. Then you can hear exactly how to pronounce certain words. So since I don't have the recording, I just go off what Commander General Yohanna and the generals say they said and the way they pronounce it, right? You can also look it up. Now, just to prove that even during the days of the Bible, they didn't all say the words the same way. So somebody might have been Shalawam. Somebody might have been, I don't think so, but give me Judges 12 real quick. I'll show you something so you can see. Just like right now, if me and a brother from up north say some of the same words in English, it'll be, I can get a trooper to read it now.
I got it
on. Oh, what's going on? Tripping. Let's go to Judges chapter 12 as well. Let's get there.
We want to start at
Just start. I really want you. Let me get there. Let's go to verse 4. I don't want to take too much time.
Judges chapter 12, verse 4. Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim, and the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, "Ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites, and it was so that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said, "Let me go over," that the men of Gilead said unto them, "Art thou an Ephraimite?"
Hold on one second. Check something out real quick. I want to look for Gileadite. Gileadite. I want to find out who this is. Gileadite. Gilead was Israel's possession, east of the Jordan River, extending from the Sea of Galilee to the northern end of the Dead Sea. Jacob camped there when they was fleeing Laban and had his reconciliation with Esau when Canaan was allocated. All right, I want to get to Judges. Jer, a Gileadite, served for 20 years as a judge over Israel in Judges. Tamayon, you know whether or not these people was Israelites? They was Israelites, right? In Judges, Gilead, the people of Gilead that it's talking about. When they from the house of
this is, I think this is the name of a certain person from the tribe in Israel.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about the Gileadites.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so they Israelites, right?
No.
All right, I just wanted to make my point. I wanted to make sure. I'm just making sure. All right, so as we read now, these people of Gilead are fighting against the tribe of Ephraim. If you don't know in the Bible, you had the northern and southern kingdom that were actually at war with each other multiple times. You had times where Israelites would be allies with other nations, even against each other. You know what I'm saying? You can look and find where I believe it was either the northern or southern kingdom teamed up with Esau against people, Edomites against other nations. So it's not far-fetched for a nation to come together for whatever war or whatever they fighting for, to team up with other people that wasn't. That matter of fact, that Isaiah chapter 7, where it's talking about it, somebody was teaming up with Ephraim to fight against the southern kingdom. So here they going at it, and they say Gilead smote Ephraim. So these Israelites smote these other Israelites, right? Because they say you Gileads are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. Go ahead.
They said that we are a branch of Manasseh, a branch from Manasseh.
Who that? Gilead?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's also a place that Israel took over. So it was Ephraim, Manasseh, and probably other tribes there. Go ahead, Rakon, you got something?
Right, it said it was Gad, but it was a mountainous region bounded on the west by the Jordan, on the north by the Shalom.
Yeah, I just read that out of
It's a Gadite.
you say Gadite and Manasseh and Gad are two different tribes.
It's not a car.
All of them up in there, but they fighting each other. All them tribes up in there, but I guess so these all northern tribes, huh? None of these are southern tribes. No, I ain't seen nobody name one yet. So let's just say if it was, they supposed to be one unit under the northern kingdom, but they different tribes. They at war with each other, right? As Israel is. Let me read it again, what the brother just read in verse 4. This is Judges 12:4. Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, you Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim, among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. Read verse 5.
Come. And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. And it was so that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said, let me go over, that the men of Gilead said unto him, art thou an Ephraimite? if he said nay.
Now stop. He said the Gileadites went and took this passage that you had to go through, right? About it before you can get to the Jordan, and you had to pass through here. So once they got control of it, any Ephraimite coming through there, they're gonna stop them. Ephraimites, which was escaped, said, let me go over here. Let me go over to Jordan. They would ask them, are you an Ephraimite? And if they said no, you're an Ephraimite, this is how they proved if they was or not. Read verse 6.
Come. Verse 6. Then said they unto him, say now, Shibboleth. And he said, Sabbath, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they took him and slew him at the passages of Jordan. And there fell at the time of the Ephraimites 42,000.
All right, so these 42,000 Ephraimites could not pronounce a word the same way these other Manassites or men of Gilead would pronounce it. It's the same word. But just by how you pronounce it, said what tribe you in. Just like right now, if you ask a Judite to say water, and you ask an Ephraimite to say water, they're gonna say it two different ways, right? You could tell that they're not the same tribe, or they're not the same. So this is the point I was trying to make by breaking this out. Even back then, they was pronouncing words differently, even based on your tribe, based on where you was at, or whatever. And that's how they knew you, based on your, like you could tell, brother started saying word is born. Cap be saying word is born. We'll say that, whatever. Like where I'm from Florida. I'm gonna talk a little different than a brother in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna say it a little bit different. So based on where you was at, that's what the Lord he set these tribes up in different places. People try to pronounce words different, but that don't mean you're not an Israelite if you don't pronounce it the same way. It's just where you getting it from, where you learn from is what you're gonna say. So if you didn't learn from Commanding General Yahanna, you'll probably say Shalom or Shalawam. If you learned it from the generals in our school, you'll probably say Shalom. That's what the brother meant by if you're not in the truth if you're saying Shalom. All right. Did I answer your question? All right. Most High in Christ. Anybody got other questions? All right, cool. On to the Sabbath. What's the proper way to keep the Sabbath, right? Can a man do good on the Sabbath? Is it okay to do good on the Sabbath? When do you keep it? Some people say you wait for the new moon, and then 7 days after that new moon, on the 8th day would be the 8th day, you would keep it, and then 7 more days after that, and it keeps rotating. It ain't on the same day. Some people say Wednesday. I see brothers say it's Wednesday. It's the real Sabbath. It's not Saturday. How you know if you're keeping it right? How do you know if you're doing it wrong? The Lord said, yeah, no sir. The Lord said, keep the Sabbath. Let's get there real quick. Let's start there. Nope, sir. Give me remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Get that. You got it? All right, go ahead.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Mm-hmm.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
All right, so it's talking about the Sabbath. It's just the law just saying keep the Sabbath, just like the Lord did all his work on 6 days. You will work 6 days. The seventh day you should the seventh day you should rest or whatever. That word Sabbath just means rest. It ain't that deep, but it's saying that everything, it don't matter what, your manservant, your maid servant, your ox, your ass, every animal, everybody that work for you should not work on the Sabbath. Read it again, what you said, all these different things it said that shouldn't work.
But the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Lord, thy power.
Mm-hmm.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Nobody, right? All right, so from what it sounds like here, then there's 6 days you will work, and then there's a Sabbath. 6 days you will work, and then there's a Sabbath. There is, however, outside of the truth, a debate about when a day starts. But there should more so be a debate about when a day ends. Because when you go to Genesis chapter 1, let's go there. When it starts off in verse 2, go ahead and read verse 2 for me, GEN.YAHANNA.
For the Genesis, right?
1. You might as well start at verse 1 instead of skipping it.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, the power created the heaven and the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep,
Mm-hmm.
and the spirit of the power moved upon the face of the waters. And the power said, let there be light.
Right. So first of all, it was what?
Darkness.
Before what?
Light.
It was dark before light, right? That's simple enough. So which one came first, the darkness or the light? The Lord said, let there be light. All right, keep going.
Come. And the power said, let there be light. And there was light. Verse 4. And the power saw the light, that it was good. And the power divided the light from the darkness.
All right, here go. You got two separate things. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the power called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
All right. That's important. And the evening and the morning was the first day. Now, day, hold on. Verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness night. So you got day and night right there, right? Well, what in the world is evening and morning? You got day and night right there. That's what he said the Lord called it. And then you got evening and morning. Can anybody tell me what evening and morning are? If day is the light and darkness is night, what is evening and morning? Oh, you're never smacking. All right. There's a separate, it says the Lord separated day and night, right? The evening and morning is what separates day and night. Evening separates the day from night, and the morning separates the night from the day coming up. So these are times in between. So now you got 4 things. You got day, night, morning, and evening, right? Now, if the evening is before, in the evening and the morning is the first day. So you got to have all of them in there. The night comes before the day. The evening and the morning is the first day. That's what the Bible says. All right. Let me see here. Where else we can go? Anybody else know a good one? As far as the understand how the days set up. Look like this is the beginning. It's another one too. Anyways, let's just start right there. Okay. So now you got the Sabbath day. How do you keep the Sabbath? Anybody? What's the proper way to keep the Sabbath? Y'all with me? No?
So, as it says, like as all it says, like to do no work, no service hour work.
Mm-hmm. What are you allowed to do on the Sabbath? That's a trick question.
What you want to do?
In the Bible, a man was killed for picking up sticks on the Sabbath. Are you allowed to pick up sticks? Really? So why he wasn't allowed to? Why was he killed? Anybody break that down? Yeah, go ahead.
Hypocrites.
Who was hypocrites?
The ones that wanted to kill him over picking up stones.
So you're saying it wasn't righteous for them to kill him for keeping the Sabbath when you just read the law that the Lord said keep the Sabbath?
They can't understand the spirit behind the law.
Oh, okay. That was a good answer. I like that answer right there. They didn't understand the spirit behind the law. I like that answer. All right. I thought you was going to take me somewhere else. I'll take that. That wasn't where I was going with it, but I'll take that. I can't. Yeah, go ahead.
Punished him for picking up sticks because that was his occupation for like making fire or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing work for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he was punished, right?
Oh, you want to go read it?
It's in the Old Testament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was punished for that. Because he was doing servile work.
Right. And you're not supposed to. But he is right on it as far as them not understanding the spirit behind it, because in the same people that probably stoned him was breaking another law, which is where I'm trying to get to now. Now that we're under Christ, right? If the law, let's say the law says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Anybody in here ever slept with somebody else's old lady? Don't raise your hand. Mr. Still Your Girl? All right, if the law was, remember the Sabbath. Anybody ever missed the Sabbath? What would happen if you missed the Sabbath? If you didn't keep the Sabbath? Anybody know? Besides you dying.
So
Yeah.
I think you weren't considered to be Israel anymore.
You cut off, right? If you didn't die, you was cut off. What happened if you missed Passover?
So,
Yep, you was cut off. I ain't even find out we were supposed to be keeping the Sabbath or the Passover until I was about, let's say, roughly 30, 31 years old. I didn't know nothing about it. Anybody told me, I would have thought you had to go to church on Sunday, and that was the Sabbath that it was talking about. So my point in all of this, in Genesis, it says the evening and the evening and the morning was the first day, right? The darkness came, and then God said, let it be light. So you had dark, and then you went into light. How it works is sundown, which is evening, ends the day. That's the end of the day, right? Now, the other day don't officially start until the sun come up. but it's the end of one day. What's that time in between? Yep.
Evening,
And then what's after the evening?
morning,
No,
or night.
the night. So you got the evening, you got the night, you got the day, and then you got the you got the evening, the night, you got the morning, then you got the day. And then at evening, the day is over. So if you want to be technical, you can say the 12 hours or whatever that the sun is up is the day. You can say the day, the Sabbath day. I've heard people say the Sabbath day don't start till the sun come up on Saturday. But you still, the day before the Sabbath ends at evening because it ain't day. The easiest way to remember it is the evening ends the day. So at the end of the 6th day, you now start to observe the Sabbath. You ain't gonna do it right. Let's get that squared away. Because there's a spirit, it's spiritual. The reason why I'm saying that is because the Pharisees who was trying to cut Christ on the Sabbath, everybody familiar with this story, right? Saying, oh, because they was hungry and they wouldn't gather, what they was gathering, grapes? What they was gathering? Corn on the Sabbath. They was breaking the Sabbath because they doing work. Same way somebody would tell you you're wrong for cooking on the Sabbath because you're doing work, right? Now, spiritually, if you feel condemned about cooking on the Sabbath, just cook Friday and just eat leftover. But you know, that scripture that say, be not over righteous or righteous over much, overly righteous. So how it go? Somebody know? Let's get that. Be not overly righteous over much or something like that. Right? How far you gonna go with it? How far you gonna go with your rest? I had somebody tell me that they tear their toilet tissue the day before so that they won't have to do this tissue on the Sabbath, or they'll hold it if they gotta do number 2, because they don't want to work. You looking at me like I made it up. Don't lie. I didn't say it. I'm just telling you what they told me, right? Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 16.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
All right, go ahead with it.
Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself overwise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?
What does that mean? Anybody know? Why should you destroy yourself? Being overwise, being over righteous over much. How that's what broke down to me. If you go into the Popeyes and you order chicken, fried chicken, you know they sell popcorn shrimp there too, right? Do you think they change the grease every time? Now, you can get to a point with yourself being overly righteous to where you gonna go into Popeyes and ask them to drain all the oil out before they cook your chicken. You could be like that. But what you have to understand is, this is what Paul was talking about going into shambles and buying meat in the shambles. You just don't eat the shrimp. Just don't eat the shrimp. How it was taught to me is order chicken, give me my chicken so I can get out of here. It can't control everything in a heathenistic world. Everybody's not gonna keep the Sabbath. Everybody's not gonna live the way you live. Everybody's not gonna not have sex with other men's women. Everybody's not gonna not cheat on their husband. You just gotta do what you can within the midst of being in a certain area or whatever. In America, you know, you can go in there and order turkey and they're gonna slice your turkey on the same thing they just sliced that pork on. Now, I would ask them to do me a solid and wipe it off, but how far you want to take it? It's the same. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question. Say my work outside, right? I work for the city. I do landscaping. And I bring a cooler to work every morning, right? And I try to do a brother by letting everybody get water or whatever. Bring the cooler. and they put their lunch in my cooler, and the Negro got a ham sandwich.
Right.
Do I supposed to like, just like
You already went off about it. So why you asking?
Wanted to. I said,
You didn't go off.
I didn't.
All right, both sides. Both sides. Listen. It's completely up to you. It's your cooler. It's completely up to you. It depends on how I was feeling that day. Sometimes I might let stuff like that slide. I'll give you an example. My ex-mother-in-law used to be like, you going to the store? Bring me back some cigarettes. I would be no. I'm not bringing you no cigarettes. I'm not going to contribute to you dying, right? Once or twice I felt sorry for her and I got her the cigarettes. Now, was I sinning?
Yeah.
Why?
You brought her down.
So now, you allowing them brothers to keep their ham sandwich on ice and nice and cool, are you sinning? This the same thing we doing right now. Yeah, you bringing up death.
No, he brought that down.
Exactly. She bought the cigarettes with her own money.
I didn't know he was doing it. He did my own back.
I understand. So now you know what you're gonna do. Say he can't use your cooler no more, right?
Huh? Okay, but see, that was like a sin. What did it say? When you sin unwillingly. Like,
Yeah, I understand.
I ain't know you had to do that.
But you ain't eating the sandwich.
They asked you to sin.
Hold on. You ain't eating the sandwich.
All right.
You ain't bring the sandwich.
All right.
You not gonna eat the sandwich.
All right.
And you gonna tell him he gonna die for eating the sandwich.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
I told her she was gonna die for smoking the cigarettes. As I'm giving them to her.
Oh, it's like it.
Yeah.
But there's jobs, right?
You changed the subject though. But go ahead.
But there's jobs you have to deal with swine.
Absolutely.
You
I have to every day. What are you talking about? I work in a liquor store.
Okay.
I don't know if the dude is or the sister is an alcoholic or not.
Right.
Just because it's lawful to drink don't mean you can be a drunk. You can't. It's a sin.
Right.
Is it my job to convey whether or not they gonna be within the lines or not, or be a drunk? Nah.
You gotta do the job.
We sell pork.
I mean,
They sell skins in the store I work in.
like the example you made, right? It reminded me, right? I ain't saying it's wrong with that, but it reminded me of my mom. I went back down south this weekend.
Yeah.
And before I went to camp, I asked my mom if she wanted something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yeah, give me some McDonald's. I said, hold on, McDonald's. There's a reason why I don't go to McDonald's no more, because they trying to make you eat nothing but pork in the morning. I mean, every sandwich is a sausage sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you already knew she was gonna ask you for the sausage, egg, and cheese.
I said, Mom,
bake. Yeah.
I said, Mom, I can eat some chicken, steak or something. I can't eat no sausage.
Yeah.
She said, wow, I've been eating that all my life.
Right.
I'm like, yeah. I'm
Right.
not buying them for years.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way to be, though.
Like why? If I would not buy one of my brothers in the world those sausage sandwiches, why would I give it to my own mama?
That's correct. Right. No, you're right.
So she got mad.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. If you go in there, like for instance, sometimes I go in Waffle House and I order cheese, steak, something, whatever. And I see this nigga cook bacon right there on that grill. What am I supposed to do? I asked them to clean it off because I saw him do it, right? But what we talking about being over righteous over much is how far am I willing to take it? I always tell them, like, can you change the little thing they use, the spatula? Can you change the spatula? Then it done went from, can you change the spatula and walk out off the griddle? Eventually, I ain't gonna be able to eat nowhere but home. Right. You see what I'm saying? So read it again, Ricon.
Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself overwise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?
What that mean? Be not righteous over much. Why should thou destroy thyself? Who phone that is going on? Oh no, it's cool. I just want to make sure it ain't no emergency. You need to take that. That's 2 hours. Nah.
I know that coming out.
Oh, let them call. They'll be all right. Hey. All right, so I'm bringing this out for the Sabbath because when you're an Israelite and you try to come back into your culture, there's a lot of things you're gonna have to recapture, like your language. If you sit there and wonder, like, am I saying this right? You know what I'm saying? Is my fringes correct? My fringes correct? No, they're not. You know why they're not? All right. What am I eating? Am I eating right? I don't eat. I'm eating McDonald's that they cooked on a griddle, that the sausage, egg, and cheese, but it's a McChicken, right? It's a McChicken biscuit. How far you gonna go with it?
So why do you guys not wear the fringes?
We do wear fringes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What are
No, we do. Yeah, we wear them on our pants. We don't wear them on our shirts.
I didn't look down
Yeah, nah. I said that for a reason.
because I saw him looking too. I'm like, I don't see you.
No, yeah, I know. I said that for a reason. But I'll tell you after class. Anyways, we do wear fringes. My point is, you will have people arguing with you about the the fringes on the t-shirt, fringes on the pants, how you wear your fringes, right? Go ahead.
But the Lord, he didn't say wear fringes every day.
He did say you should wear them for a purpose. There's a purpose to wear them.
Okay.
Right. I know that. My point is, you have brothers in Israelite groups that would say a brother ain't in the truth because he does not wear fringes. A brother asked me that at my slavery, and I said, I don't put fringes on my slave clothes like I have them on my priestly garments. If we wear, you know, it's like, for instance, we do the Sabbath service, we do a feast, we do something like that. Most of the time, like you teach a class or something, or you out at camp, you would wear fringes for the sake of you taking back your culture. It don't make you righteous or not. It's niggas with fringes on rolling up a plant right now. It's a dude that Shalawam me that covered there. All them dudes got the cigarette smoke lips. You know they smoke cigarettes and they Shalawam me because they seen me with a shield on and they Yahweh been Yahweh people. You know what I'm saying? My point is, on everything, we just people that's waking up that the Lord has allowed to be destroyed because of our disobedience, right? How far you want to take whether you righteous or not? I had people. There's going to be arguments about it. The point is to gather yourself with the people who you believe to have the truth and to follow them. The problem with Israel was our leadership. If you go all the way through it, Jeremiah 23 talks about their leader, the shepherds that did not visit my people, the leaders that caused them to err. Malachi is talking about the priests. These people were set up over Israel, and they did a horrible job in leading us. What we need is righteous leadership. Why? Precept. I say it all the time. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. The Lord set up, and that's what the whole New Testament and Christ and everything was about, was bringing back in righteous leadership within the earth. Not I'm a priest because my daddy was a Levite and my granddaddy was a Levite and I'm a priest under that line. But I'm a priest because I chose to follow the example of what a priest should look like, which is our King Yahweh. Everybody understand, right? So now we talking about keeping the Sabbath. Christ cut the people who was policing the Sabbath. They was policing the Sabbath, saying, why are these boys out here picking corn on the Sabbath? I remember like after camp, we go get something to eat, and somebody saying like, you shouldn't go get nothing to eat after camp. What do you mean? It said Christ was in the temple every Sabbath, debating the scriptures with the people in the temple. So we shouldn't go out on the streets and do what our king did. Now it's about going to get your people. Can a man do good on the Sabbath? Yes. So we ain't got to go into all of that. We have that class. What the sister was asking was, when do you keep it? That's the same thing. When do you keep it and how you keep it is the same thing. You understand what I mean by that? When you keep it and how you keep it is the same thing. I just am crazy enough to believe that everything that we teach in the truth is straight out of the Bible, and it is not and cannot be denied, right? So now look, it's a hold on. Is it fox hair? Beaver hair. Beaver hair. I think that's what it is. Hold on. Beaver skin. Anybody know where I'm going? No? Good. That means to say something that I done taught 100 million times over again. Y'all probably ain't seen this in a while. Exodus 35, maybe. Let me see it. 20. What you just read, Exodus 20? Let me see it. Y'all gotta bear with me because I lost all my notes. So, well, my notes were stolen. Exodus 35. Yeah, let's go to Exodus chapter 35. I had a room on Clubhouse, right? I'm gonna do one on. I was on Bigo the other night too. I'm gonna do it on Bigo about the proper way to keep the Sabbath. This is go ahead.
You don't do Bigo.
I was just on Bigo the other night. I just was on Bigo the other night. I did a room. Ask Halak. He was in there. I was chopping some dude down. He said he ain't believe in the Bible at all, but he followed the Bible. He read all books. That was the conversation. It was great. It's wonderful. I don't think Nate's gonna be messing with us on Clubhouse anyway. We outlawed on Clubhouse. Anyways.
What about Matthew 28:1? That's the one that I wanted.
All right, we're gonna get to it. I'm still on your second question. I'm long-winded. You asked me a question, I might take the whole class.
Second question though. Let's put the second one about the Sabbath.
Oh, okay, all right, I got you. All right, so let me get here first. Let's go here first. You got it? Exodus 35? All right, go ahead and read it for me. Let's read the Bible a little bit.
And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together, and said unto them, these are the words which the Most High hath commanded, that ye should do them. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Most High.
What Sabbath of what?
Rest to the Most High. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death.
Now, my slavery called me on Saturday. I was scheduled to go to camp and said, you got to come in to work. I went to work. Do I deserve to be put to death? Simple question. Anybody? What say you, Tamayo?
No, you shouldn't be put to death.
What?
You shouldn't be put to death.
What say you, Yomayan?
If they put you to death, put me to death.
What you mean?
I got called in.
I say yes, I do deserve to be put to death. That's what I say. However, because of Christ, I deserve mercy as well. Because ain't nobody righteous enough to put me to death. That's what I say. But I do deserve death because I shouldn't be working it. But we are in captivity. It wasn't up to me. It was up to me. Not only would I take the Sabbath off, but I'd take 2-3 more days off. Matter of fact, I wouldn't work at all. And I would give my servants the Sabbath off the way it said to do. and what it said, and the mule and the horses and everything, and my servant, manservant, cattle, everybody will get a day off. Because I would rather be in rulership, and I would rather be over whether somebody working on the Sabbath or not. However, that's not the case because we sinned against the Lord. I just wanted to see. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this out is because I asked people how they observe the Sabbath. Some of them said they do it like I was telling you on Wednesday. Some of them say they do it from sun up to sundown. I think Divine Prospect told me sun up to sundown. That's the Sabbath day, right? Not even a whole 24-hour period. It's from the sun up to sundown. That's the Sabbath day. Remember, you got day, night, evening, morning. I don't agree with it, but I understand his thing. He's talking about the Sabbath day. He observes the Sabbath day. Whatever. That's his group. That's what they do. Here's what I'm saying. The girl that talking about the tissue. The people talk about they don't go to the stove. People say you can't have sex with your woman. People say you ain't supposed to be teaching or doing nothing. You're supposed to chill, relax. Is what it said now. Read verse 2 again.
6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest
Okay.
to the Most High.
Yep.
Whosoever doeth work therein
If you do any work, go ahead.
shall be put to death.
All right. Keep going. Here we go.
Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitation.
So, if I cook on the Sabbath, do I deserve to die? Anyways, go ahead. That's what the Bible says. We read the Bible now. Tell me, how is it wrong for somebody to come to that conclusion? It ain't. But they missing is the spirit behind the law of the Sabbath. Go ahead, keep reading.
Throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
Now, stop right here. Now, so we going through this, and I'm asking them, what is kindling the fire? Some people said, don't start no arguments, no debates. I don't have no debates in my rooms on the Sabbath because it's the Sabbath, and that's kindling the fire. Don't start no argument with your woman on the Sabbath because that's kindling the fire. Yeah, go ahead.
You can't have no sex on the Sabbath.
That's what I'm telling you. That's kindling the fire. Time fire. I ain't kindling the fire. I'm terrible. Salakia. Oh, man. No. Show me that. Where is it at? I don't see it. Huh? Yeah, you deserve to be put to death. Marriage bed is not defiled. Anyway, so after they went through all this, I don't get on the phone, I don't do this, I don't start my car, I keep my lights off, I don't use the microwave, I put sandwiches in the car. Everybody goes through everything that they don't do on the Sabbath, trying to make themselves holy. Right? Yep.
Can't buy no gas either.
Can't buy no gas.
Can't buy no gas. Can't buy nothing on the Sabbath.
Yeah, I know. I remember I.U.S.C. was outside and it was in Atlanta. Remember that? Captain Zaria went in the store to go buy stuff to go to camp. Think like Gatorades and stuff to go to camp. They said, look at them. They had a whole video up. Remember that sister that was in the truth? She said, I see this video and it's an I.U.S.C. video. I said, oh, you watching an I.U.S.C. video? She was in the truth now. She got a Hebrew name now. It's an I.U.S.C. video. Now, just so y'all know, GEN.YAHANNA does not discourage you from watching anybody's videos, even whether you is or ain't in the truth. We encourage you to go watch them. And if you feel like they resonate with your spirit, we would encourage you to go join them as well. All right. Everybody understand, right? All right, cool. So the sister was like, they seen them buying on the Sabbath. The I.U.I.C. was outside of the store. It's somewhere in Atlanta speaking. They went in the store, come out with Gatorades and all of that. And they said they was buying and selling on the Sabbath. Yeah. So like it. Anyways, here's my point. Everybody went through everything that they do to make themselves feel holy on the Sabbath. Then I just simply ask, is anybody doing this? Anybody? Read verse 4.
And Moses spake unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying,
hold on, he spoke to some of the congregation?
All the congregation of the children of Israel.
He spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel. So this ain't just the priest, right? Keep reading, saying.
This is the thing which the Most High commanded, saying.
So who commanded this?
Most High,
All right, keep going.
take ye from amongst you an offering unto the Most High. Whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it. An offering of the Most High, gold and silver and brass.
Hold on. So now on the Sabbath, you got to bring gold, silver, and brass. Keep going.
And blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and badger's skins, and shittim wood, and oil.
This is a commandment from God. He said, on the Sabbath, this is what you should bring. Anybody ever did this? Why are you looking at me like that? Anybody ever did this? Go ahead, keep going. This said it's a commandment from God to all of Israel that this is what you're supposed to do on the Sabbath. It doesn't say nothing about no turning off your cell phone, not cranking up your car, not having sex, not wiping your butt, none of that. It says, bring this, and this is a commandment. Go ahead, keep reading, Raccoon.
Verse 8, and oil for the light, and spices for anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, and onyx stones, and stones to be set for the ephod, and for the breastplate. And every wise-hearted among you shall come and make all that the Most High hath commanded.
Now, what is the point? What is the point? Anybody? Anybody know why he's saying bring this stuff? No, you don't. You know? You got your hand up, right?
So like, I'm just take it
Go ahead, take a guess. We in class.
because the Most High is telling them how to worship Him and the proper way to go about. He's going to build and do.
You almost on it. This is why he's saying do this. And this is why we don't know nothing about this. This was stuff that you're supposed to bring to the temple. The priests need this. The incense and the shittim wood and the all of this stuff that he's naming, the gold and this is supposed to be in the temple. We don't know that because we never been in the temple. What's the point? The Sabbath, just like every single thing else in the Bible, is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. You ain't holy. You ain't better than nobody because you don't start your car or cut on lights or don't use your microwave on the Sabbath. You ain't better than nobody because you don't keep it every Saturday from sundown to sun up. All of our righteousness is as filthy rags. All of it. Without our King Yahweh giving his life, everything that we trying to do to be righteous is of nothing. That's what the bottom line is to everything. All we doing is rehearsing the righteous acts and trying to appease the Most High and let him know we're ready to be obedient. So he can send our king back who will tell you, hey, this is what he's going to say. I.S.U.P.K had it right the whole time. The Sabbath is from sundown to sun up. This is that. Yes, it's okay for a man to have more than one wife. Yes, I am not God. I am the king under King David. Yes, such and such and such. Yes, the white man is the devil. All right, Salakia. Let's go to Matthew chapter 28 and verse 1. Everybody understand my point, right? Ain't nothing you gonna do. You ain't doing nothing right. Because we ain't in the land. We don't have a temple. The priesthood is different. The only way you can do it is be in the right spirit. Be in the right spirit. That's the point. It all boils down to be in the spirit. All the Lord needs is a what did it say? A willing mind, an obedient spirit, the spirit that Christ had. Christ going through the whole thing of dying for the whole country, the whole nation of Israel, and saying, I don't want to do this. However, if you want me to do it, I'm going to do it. I'll die for these niggas that want me dead. Matthew chapter 28. And the question was, what's the breakdown on this? All right, let's do it. Oh, I see why. Matthew 28:1. Somebody read it for me.
Matthew chapter 28 and verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre.
In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. Now, remember what we read in Genesis 1. Day of the week came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to the sepulchre. You know why I'm stressing the words I was stressing?
Yeah, it was because you broke down, the day, the morning, the evening, the night. Those 4 different increments in the whole 12 period. So with this, the end of the Sabbath, I guess it confused me because the way it was broken down was, at the end of the Sabbath, the end of Saturday, dawn into Sunday morning, and dawn is like the first lighting of the sky.
That's correct.
So that's why I was a little confused.
That's correct. That night would be, if night come before day, then this can make sense. It can't make sense if you're saying Friday night is Friday night. And Friday night is actually Saturday night. The night comes before the morning. You understand? So now the Sabbath ends on Friday. I mean, the Sabbath ends on Saturday night. You had a night, and as the dawn of the first day, that day starts when the sun comes up. The morning or the dawn, and then that day is over, and then the night, and then it's the second day. And then that day is over, and then the night, and then it's the third day. You see what I'm saying or no?
I'm still wrapped around how this was broken down to me.
I know.
From Saturday to Sunday, the end of the Sabbath, which will be Saturday. Saturday is gone into Sunday's morning.
That's correct.
So, but the way that person do the Sabbath is Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
What are you saying then?
They're saying the day comes before the night.
No, they said the Sabbath is not Friday evening to Saturday evening, which is how I've been doing it.
Right.
But
That's what I'm saying. They're saying the day comes before the night.
Okay, yeah, not the evening before the day.
Not the evening and the night and then the day, the morning and then the day. Evening, night, morning, day is the way that the Genesis 1 states that the day goes, right? Evening, night, morning, and then day. The end of that day. So when the sun goes down, is it the same day or is it the next day?
Well, for me, it's the next day.
For them. For them, it's the same day. After the sun goes down, it's the same day.
Same day.
That's why you're confused.
Yeah.
They're saying that after the sun goes down, it's still the same day. That's what they're saying. We're saying after the sun goes down, that day is over. That's what we said. You get it or no?
I do.
All right, so even with this, the way it's being mentioned, I've heard people try to pull it out to say, because they had a big deal about this, and people argue about this all the time. At the end of the day, go ahead, Rico, you had something?
No, I was just debating. Was it kind of just like an interval between Sabbath?
What you mean?
There's like a brief period between Sabbath when they say like.
No, well, okay, let me tell you what's going on so you know. You have people that believe that the day starts in the morning and then at night, and then as it's night, it's still the same day until the sun rises again. and that completes the cycle. So they would start the Sabbath on Saturday morning until Sunday morning. What we teach is how it was in Genesis 1, and the evening and the morning was the first day, that cycle. Both evening, morning, day, and night, or night and day passes. And then once the sun goes down, that is it. That's why it would say all through the scriptures, let's say you was unclean. You touched some blood, you had sex, you did something. They're unclean until sundown. You are to wash and be unclean until sundown. You're familiar with those laws, right? Because once the sun goes down, the day is over. The new day does start when, technically, if you want to get technical, the day starts when the sun comes back up. However, that night is the end of that day before that. So it's really a technicality, just like having a cookout on Sabbath. Was it really talking about a big lighter and lighter fluid, or was it talking about rubbing two sticks together until you get a spark? Nobody does that anymore. That was work. Anybody in here, Boy Scouts started fires with two sticks rubbing together? Well, I haven't. There have been lighters in existence and lighter fluid, but I could imagine that it's a lot of work. Go ahead.
Oh, it's like I'm just, it's not sticks, it's just search for a dry piece of wood, carving it out.
Man, don't correct the teacher. Don't correct the teacher. All right, you right. I'm wrong and you right.
I'm saying I
Right,
don't
that I know, man. I know. I'm just talking here. Just let me live a little bit. Golly. Good night. All right. Let me get back on track. Yeah. Just brush, right? You don't use sticks, you use brush. Yeah. And you don't have to rub two sticks together. You can do it like this too. I actually do know what I'm talking about. I just be playing dumb sometimes so dumb people could get it. That was a shot. Salakia. Now, as far as when it comes to the Sabbath or whatever, with this right here, this is not like a dagger to nothing. No. It's just saying that the end of the Sabbath came. That was the evening. And as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week. So that day would have been the first day. I mean, you understand it or no? You still confused? All right, you get it. All right. Anybody else got any questions? Nope. Anybody want to add something to something I brought out? Anybody got any precepts that might go along with it, that might clarify it? Yes, no, maybe. Hey, what's the one that I had gave you when we was talking about that one that I had asked Cap about about frying chicken? You still got it wrote down? I want to bring that back up. I'm gonna ask that in class on Thursday. I'm gonna ask General Muhammad because I think somebody else asked a similar question, and I don't think he was getting why they were saying that. So I want to make sure I bring that back up so I can teach that right. And it kind of go along with this as well. It's saying this priest gonna sprinkle the blood and atone for the sins, and he shall wash and be unclean until sundown. Right? You remember? Not where it's at, but you remember the question. Was the priest unclean because he touched something dead?
It's like remember I had the same question.
Oh, I know what it was. The answer was the priest was always unclean, right? Because they did the atonement for the people. They sacrificed, but they was the only ones that was able to be in the holiest holies and so on and so forth. But the priest broke the Sabbath every Sabbath. Tomayom, you remember anything that go along with that? You know anything that went along with that? the priests always being unclean because they had took the sacrifices, or they always broke the Sabbath because they did the atonements on the Sabbath and so on and so forth.
I read about it.
Yeah, I know you be doing the Sabbath service. In there, we ran across something where it said the priest was going to sprinkle the blood as an atonement for the people, and he was going to be unclean, wash and be unclean until sundown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the question was asked about why he was unclean. Was it because he touched a clean animal? How was he unclean? And was it blood? And I think that's how we got to where the brother was saying about, if he worked cooking meat, like the brother's a chef, and he touched the carcass of a clean animal, was he unclean?
It basically had to do with hygiene, so it had nothing to do with the animal.
I know, it's spiritual.
Yeah,
I know, but it's the law though. So when you're talking to people about the law, especially people who don't understand spiritual things, when you start saying it's spiritual, a Christian can say the same thing and it muddies up the waters. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to give somebody a clean, straight answer. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, like the Bible is basically telling you, I need to do that. You should go take a bath. I need dirty. I need nasty. You shouldn't be touching them.
I know that's what it's saying. That's what Christ was saying, right?
Like for instance, like to have sex is not a sin, but hey, go take a bath. Don't be touching nobody after you.
Right.
Don't put blood in your face.
But that was Israelite customs, right?
You clean people.
Yeah. If you find it for me, recall, just let me know. Just text it to me. I want to get it back out to General Muhammad. He probably gonna say the same exact thing Thumma just said, because I know he came up in Philadelphia up under the generals. You know what I'm saying? And same thing that I was taught. You know what I'm saying? With the law, ain't nobody bringing no silver, no gold, no ram skin, none of that on the Sabbath. So you're doing it wrong anyway. You ain't got no temple. You ain't got no sacrifice. You ain't got nothing. The whole point is to be obedient, to be in the spirit of obedience. Everything is spiritual at this point. You ain't in the land. They say the land was to enjoy her Sabbath without you because you ain't keep the Sabbath when you was there. Now you're trying to keep it in America. Well, the only way to do it is to follow exactly what Christ did. What Christ did on the Sabbath, that's what I'm doing on the Sabbath. I'm going to go and I'm going to battle the Pharisees on the Sabbath. All right, y'all understand? We're going to feed the poor on the Sabbath. We're going to have brotherhood on the Sabbath. Can't kindle a fire? How you supposed to cook the lamb on the Passover? It's a Sabbath. People just be trying to be overly righteous over month. And the Bible say don't do that. Go ahead.
But I ain't gonna lie to you, sir. Before I came into the truth, right? I used to run away from the microwave on Sabbath day and eat cold food all day.
Yeah, you was a Israelite.
Yeah, but it was something that I had recognized.
Let me ask you this. No, go ahead. Finish your story.
Yeah, it was something I recognized that they was doing. They doing all this extra stuff, right? But they eating tuna. They eating tuna on the Sabbath.
Who is they? Who is the they?
Israelite.
You know, if you look up tuna, it'll say it got microscopic scales, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
It'll say it got microscopic scales on it.
Not kosher. Not kosher.
It says it's kosher. It says it's kosher now. All right, the mahi does have scales.
Dolphin?
Mahi, no. It's a type of tuna.
Yeah, mahi, you have ahi.
Okay.
Yeah, not the dolphin. The dolphin got skin like catfish.
You take breakdown is that tuna is alone.
That's correct. However, Jeremiah Allah, when they came down, found out about the mahi. It's a type of fish. It's in the tuna family, but it has scales. That's what separates it from the other ones.
They're not the one we be eating, though.
Huh?
They're not the one we be eating. You can't.
No, that's unlawful.
Yeah.
Mahi they ain't putting no mahi in no can. That's top notch fish that we
that.
talking about. Mahi. Yeah, this brother right here was a chef, and he cleaned and scaled one and was calling me like, I thought tuna was unlawful. We ain't talking about chicken of the sea. We ain't talking about that. No, we talking about to the steaks that you would get at a 5-star Japanese restaurant. And even some of them is not my heat. It's like top notch. Yeah, you gotta catch them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta catch them or you gotta buy them. But my point in what I'm saying is what I was gonna ask you about what you were saying, right? When you was doing all that, were you saying Shabbat Shalom?
No.
Were you saying Shalawam?
No.
I'm talking about as the Israelite when you was doing that.
No, I was just learning. I ain't
Who you was learning from?
everybody.
So why you ain't say Shalawam?
I was individual like.
Yeah, I was too for a long time. I was too for a long time.
I'm gonna put all on my head myself.
I was calling Captain Conscious out like they all saying the same thing. How you gonna tell me I.S.U.P.K the other way? Captain Conscious out be like, you my favorite Christian. You know, he used to call me his favorite Christian. Yeah, kind. So now when Christians say on their favorite I.S.U.P.K members, I get offended. So what that's supposed to mean? Anyways, I'm like, I'm just like Thomayon. I'm just like Yamayan. But there any other questions? All right, we right here next week. Bring some questions, all right? Because what I'm doing is rebuilding. If those who don't know, my my laptop, all my classes, my books, precept books, all of that was in a laptop bag that got stolen out of my car probably about a good month and a half ago. So everything I'm doing is putting it back together. You know what I'm saying? Over the things I learned over the past 9 to 10 years of being in the truth, none of it's written down. So I'm getting this all based on notes that these brothers who done learned from me had of my classes and going back and watching my own classes and getting these notes. So if you have any questions that you're gonna bring, it'd be good for you to just go ahead and text me with them. That way I'll come to class prepared to answer instead of doing it on the fly. I don't mind doing it on the fly. We do that at camp. We do that on Clubhouse. We do that anytime on the fly. But it's better to have notes. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm trying to get into with these boys. I'm going into the prison. You can't take your phone. You can't look nothing up. You gotta have everything written down. Can't have no phone in there. So no laptop, no nothing. So all your stuff got to be written down. So I'm trying to get back to this. So with that, I'll say, you got it? You got it? Let's go. Pass the class over. Priest and Officer Yamayan. It's right there at the front. What's wrong? Oh, I don't know. What's the next high holy day? Anybody got them?
We do it next week.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Just leave that part out. Just tell them to go to the website.
Well, the I.S.U.P.K started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York.
Mm-hmm.
We are under command of GEN.YAHANNA. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group or black organization whatsoever. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months with it, in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find that in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, as well as Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Which means tenth, or ma'ashra in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, go to the website right now.
I know it's got to be, it's probably it's either the day of atonement. That's got to be the next one. Because we start getting into October and all of that. We already passed all the first fruits and all of that. So yeah, it's gotta be the Day of Atonement. It's usually like September, October, right?
Brian, double check on our website for the next whole convocation. If anyone wants to be a trooper,
Salaki, that means you almost been coming to class for a year. But the first time you came to the class,
I don't remember.
yeah,
I just like
I got, yeah, all right, go ahead. I just wondering.
if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, he is to start wearing all black.
Because it was right, Salaki, that was right after the Day of Atonement last year, right?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
actually before.
Okay. All right, no sweat.
She came out at work.
Yeah, that was after Atonement, right?
I came the day of the atonement.
Yeah.
You had a class and somebody.
So wait a
told me I
minute,
did it wrong.
Bruni been coming? I gotta talk to that cause, man. We gotta get that sister a name. Go ahead.
That includes boots, shirts, pants, headbands, scarf, wall bands, whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Am I doing the break?
Yeah, let's do it real quick. Come on, ain't gonna take it a second. I'll do it. Come on. We're gonna do the huh? You wanna do it? Y'all stop reading the announcements. I ain't heard the announcements in no classes in a long time, brother. I'm talking about other classes and all. They just cut the live streams off now, right? You have any of y'all? Huh? No, I'm saying, oh, you don't watch them, you saying?
I don't do live stream class.
Yeah, you did. You just did the Sabbath service like last week.
I did the prayer.
Yeah, they do them all in the Sabbath service. But I'm talking about for classes, nobody does the Lord's Prayer. We don't do the Lord's Prayer no more, right? This is why niggas is breaking the rules. They don't know the rules. Come on, hey, where the East at, man? Let's do the Lord's Prayer real quick. Yeah. It's quick, huh? Since we did the Lord's Prayer, the one that Christ told us to pray after every class. When I came in, it was after every class. Now, I think because brothers be going into town, like right now, we late, and we be getting kicked out of the library. We don't have our own school. We haven't done it.
Majim, which means stand. Hapadam, which means
It's this way?
turn and face the east.
All right. I don't trust Esau. Go ahead.
We're going first tell the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew and then the English.
All right.
Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malaka,
Malaka,
Taba'ah,
Taba'ah,
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Barataza,
Barataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashemayim,
Bashemayim,
Bathalana,
Bathalana,
Bakam,
Come,
Ka,
Ka,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalakana,
Wasalakana,
Kalawatna,
Kalawatna,
Kasalakna,
Kasalakna,
Kalawatna,
Kalawatna,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Tabi'ayana,
Banasaya,
Banasaya 1, Abal,
Abal,
Hawashadna, Mayan,
Ayan,
Ra,
Ra,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Malak,
Hamalakwa,
Waha'al,
Waha'al,
Wa'apapara,
Wa'al,
Wa'al, Walamyam, Aman.
Aman. In English, our Father,
Our
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. So be it. All right, so I mean, turn. Sister baby, see, we're gonna get one courtesy salute, men of Israel. Amadium Shabbat. Amadium Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat. What we just said was, Most High, in the name of Yahweh Shah, bless you. We get one courtesy salute to the sister, men of Israel. Amadium Shabbat. Amadium Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alathan by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shamar.
Do I need to say that?
You can.
I don't know.
It's Yahweh Shamar
Yahweh Shema,
Alathan
Alephan,
Bahashem Yahweh Shah.
Bahashem,
What you just said was Yahweh watch over you in the name of Yahweh Shah. All right. Y'all in the time, class dismissed.
Gotta do that more often.
How about Sister Adia went to the Chicago